Welcome to Chapter 10. In Chapter 10, we discuss persuasive and sales messages. So what is persuasion? Persuasion is a symbolic process in which communicators try to convince other people to change their attitudes or behaviors regarding an issue through the transmission of a message in an atmosphere of free choice. Persuasion is especially important during business. Now, a lot of people simply associate persuasion being used in business as salespeople trying to convince people to buy a product. However, it's a staple of good leadership. It's really difficult to try to change people's mindsets. And good leaders have to get people not only to believe in them, but to believe in their tactics and their courses of action. So persuasion is very important, especially when you're creating messages or writing messages, to be able to explain yourself correctly and persuade somebody to join in with you and think the way that you do or take action the way that you would want them to do. So today we're going to talk a little bit about using persuasion in writing. So first thing that we need to understand about persuasion are the 6 basic principles that drive human behavior. Now, a lot of times when you see in advertising and marketing them talking about human behavior, these 6 basic principles drive a lot of decision making in it. Maslow's hierarchy of need is an example of what advertisers use to persuade people to buy their products or to believe their marketing messages. Very similar to Maslow's hierarchies of need, it's based on 6 principles that direct human behavior, right? And they talk, and the six examples of this are reciprocation, meaning that doing something for somebody so that they reciprocate, liking something, commitment, social proof, again. Making sure that your friends and family are all on board. That kind of helps persuade people to do things. Authority. I mean, think about it. You're watching this video right now because your professor told you to. So authority is something that you're responding to that directs your behavior. And then finally, scarcity, right? Uniqueness, or the scarcity of that action directs people to do stuff. So these are 6 basic principles or 6 basic ideas that help drive people to do things. If you think about it, it's really anything that you've done today probably has been a result of one of these 6 basic principles. Very, very, very simple, but also very, very, effective. So, when we're talking about those 6 basic principles, and we're trying to apply them to persuasion and writing, there's a couple of techniques that we use. Some of the effective persuasion techniques that we use, especially when we're writing, is establishing our credibility. Think about that. Think about establishing credibility, trying to convince somebody to do something. Obviously, you want to establish your credibility. For instance, I'm teaching a marketing class, a marketing and business communications class. I can tell you my background in business. I'm a vice president of growth strategies at a digital marketing agency that's one of HubSpot and which is a digital marketing platform's top 10 agencies in the world. It's pretty credible. So if you're listening to me talk about digital marketing, I have some credibility when it comes to that. So you're going to listen. Tying facts to benefits is another effective persuasion technique. Supporting your decision with facts. If you think about it, we do that all the time. We always say, okay, I'd like you to do X there, and why? Because there's going to be something in it for you, or there's going to be a benefit of doing it, right? A next effective persuasion technique is expecting and overcoming resistance. When we talk about sales, when we talk about any good salesperson, they practice objectives, right? And how to overcome those objections. If you ever worked with a used car salesman or a car salesman, they're very good at overcoming resistance. I can't afford this car. Well, we can finance it at only $20 per $1,000 a month. Well, I don't think I need this much car. Well, if you have a family and you're growing family, you're going to need a bigger car to take them and their stuff around. Boy, they're really good at expecting and then overcoming obstacles. So if you think about it, a good effective persuasion technique is to study and to learn what the resistance may be and have some prepared, overcoming statements for it. Next effective persuasion technique is making a reasonable, specific request. Don't be generic in your request. Be specific and be reasonable. Again, that's one of the best ways to get people to go along with you is not to ask for too much and to be very specific in what you want them to do. Next is recognizing the power of loss, right? Making somebody recognize that if they miss out on something or they don't take action, they may lose something that is of value to them. So making sure that you apprise people of that possible loss is also a very important strategy. Next, and finally, the last effective persuasion technique we'll talk about is sharing solutions and then compromising. Talking to somebody and then compromising with a possible solution. Now, your chapter talks about using AIDA to persuade people. And AIDA is a technique that a lot of marketers and advertisers use as well. And AIDA stands for, as an acronym, it stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. So let's go over each one of these. Let's talk first about gaining attention. A great way to gain attention is to summarize the problem, make an unexpected statement, focus in on on a benefit for the reader, compliment them, give related facts that support your statement, and then ask them a stimulating question. This is a very popular way to gain attention. To gain somebody's attention is to summarize the problem that they're experiencing, make an unexpected statement like you can solve their problem, focus in on benefits that benefit them, use a compliment, give related facts, and then ask a simulated question. Next, we want to build interest. Again, compliments work very well, so we're going to use a compliment. We're going to give related facts, ask a stimulating question, use the specific details, and then show direct benefits and list indirect benefits as well. This allows the reader or the person that you're trying to persuade to build interest in your idea. Next, we're going to elicit desire. So we're building attention and building interest. So let's build some desire. We're going to reduce resistance, anticipate all their objections, offer counter arguments, and then we're going to paint a picture for them and use a what-if scenario, meaning how they're going to benefit from them, but use it in an explicit way that allows them to picture them with your possible solution. This is going to show the value of the proposal. Finally, prompting action. We're going to describe our specific request. We're going to sound confident in our request, and we're going to make it easy for them to take action. We're going to offer them an incentive or a gift. I like it because I use the free prize inside instead of the incentive or gift. And it doesn't have to be a tangible object. It can be an intangible object as far as incentive or gift. And a lot of intangible objects may be compliments or a guide or information. That doesn't have to be a true tangible, like who's it or what's it gift. Don't provide excuses and repeat the main benefits. So using the AIDA strategy and request claims and compliments, we're going to first pre-write and determine our purpose. We're going to know exactly what we need to achieve. We're going to anticipate the reaction of our audience. And remember, the receiver is thinking, what's in it for me? Why should I? What's in it for you as the person trying to persuade me? And frankly, who cares? We're going to remember this is what they're going to be thinking when we talk to them. We're going to try to gain their attention. We're going to use the indirect strategy rather than just blurting out the request immediately. We're going to begin with a description of the problem that they're facing, right? We're going to offer an unexpected statement and provide them reader benefits and complement them at the same time. Support our statements with related facts, or we're going to ask them a stimulating question to grab their attention. Next, we're going to build interest by convincing the audience that our request is reasonable. We're going to develop interest by using facts, statistics, examples, testimonials, and specific details. We're going to establish credibility, but if necessary, by explaining our background or expertise. Here, we're going to use testimonials, expert opinions, or research if necessary. Think about this as a testimonial on a web page, right? If we're creating a web page and we're trying to get them to have interest in our products, think about that. What would be a good testimonial? You ever see on shopping all those reviews for that product? That is an example of them establishing their credibility with you. You may not know that company and they may not know you, but by establishing credibility, they're putting in reviews below the product, allowing them to seem more credible to you. We're going to support our request by tying facts to direct benefits. Things like increased profits, more efficient operations, better customer relations, saving money. These are all examples of direct benefits. Indirect benefits may be stuff like improving the community, giving back, helping the environment. These are indirect benefits. So we want to make sure that we try to support and tie to facts to both direct and indirect, right? But in claims and complaints, be objective, but prove the validity of your request. Next, we're going to elicit desire and reduce resistance by anticipating the reactions and objections to what we're going to get. We're going to use what-if scenarios and provide compelling counter-arguments. So we're going to make them picture what our solution would look like with them. We're going to demonstrate that credibility and competence. And if we're talking about claims or complaints, we're going to use a moderate, unemotional tone. That is one of the most important things that you can remember, is to make sure that you use an unemotional tone. I know it's very easy to get upset when people are complaining, but we have to take all emotion out of it because it's going to serve no one any good. Finally, we're going to motivate them to take action. We're going to make a precise request that spells out exactly what we want them to do. We're going to motivate them to act by a certain date if necessary. We're going to repeat the key benefit, provide any additional details, or offer an incentive. Finally, we're going to wrap it up by expressing appreciation for them considering it and be confident in them doing it without seeming pushy. So how do you create persuasive sales messages on print or online? Again, in the pre-writing phase, we're going to analyze our product or service. What makes it special? What makes it stand out? What are the points that you should emphasize? How does it compare with the competition? We in the sales game and the business game call this a 30-second elevator pitch, right? Pretend you're stuck in an elevator with somebody and you have 30 seconds to talk about your product or service. You talk to them about what would make it special. What points do you want to get in as far as the product goes or the service that you want them to know about? And finally, why is it better than the competition? So when you think about that, analyze it and jot those ideas down. Also, who are you trying to sell to? So profile your audience. Think about your target audience, your intended target audience. How will this product or service benefit them? What do you want them to do? Gain attention. Describe the product or feature and present testimonials, reviews. Show the reader an action setting of the product or the service. Offer something valuable like a significant result or a product feature or an intangible product feature. Suggest a solution to a problem and offer a relevant anecdote of how your product has helped people like them in the past. That'll help you gain attention. Build interest by describing the product in terms of what it does for the reader. Show how the product or service saves them or makes them money, reduces effort, improves their health, has some sort of benefit to them. Elicit desire and reduce resistance by anticipating reluctance with attractive warranties, trial offers, free samples, money back guarantees, or testimonials. Take the risk out of it. Build credibility with the results of or awards that you received. If price isn't your main feature, describe how it can be of value to somebody. Remember, value is not price. Value is how the user perceives the worth of the product versus what they paid for it. Finally, motivate action. Close your messaging by repeating an essential selling point with clear instructions of what you want them to do next. Put the strongest motivator in a postscript and make it easy to respond. In emails, include an opportunity to opt out. In fact, that's law. If you're sending a business message, you need to put the information for the company at the bottom of the message, as well as a link for them to opt out. Some other writing email sales message writing tips. Use a catchy subject line. Don't use words like free or win in a subject line because those will be caught by spam filters. Keep the main information above the fold. Don't make the user scroll to find out the main information. Make it short, conversational, and focused. Try not to use too many graphics. Make it look like an email. It's an email. Don't make it look like an advertisement. Convey the urgency and sprinkle testimonials throughout the copy. And also, finally, provide a means for opting out. That's it for Chapter 10.